A lot of rival pairings think that they're the hot stuff nowadays. Naruto and Sasuke, Asta and Yuno, Bakugo and Deku, none of these hold a candle to the rivalry between these two. Welcome back to the Best of Battles, where we talk about the best battles that Shonen Jump has to offer. Today we're looking at Goku vs Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z. These two duke it out twice in the original manga, and the circumstances that these two find each other in each time is not really ideal for either. Despite this, they both become locked into battle with one another, entranced with the idea of combating and triumphing over each other. This fight is truly special to each character involved. Their Saiyan blood boils during battle, and the two's desire to best each other in combat is what makes them the best set of rivals out there, and makes them some of the most iconic anime characters ever. And the fight between these two helps cement that. Today we will be talking just about their fight in the Saiyan Saga, as the Buu Saga fight deserves its own video in the future, and this video will only be covering the manga events of what happens during this fight. The epic climactic conclusion of the Saiyan arc is something to behold. After Goku arrives too late to save a majority of his friends, he lets off a rampage on Nappa, the same guy who seemed like an unbreakable wall just previously. Barely any of the Z fighters could handle him, and Goku comes in and bodies Nappa. Vegeta then steps in by killing Nappa himself. While Goku showed up in an attempt to save his comrades, Vegeta is shown murdering his, showing no remorse and no care for his allies, also solidifying the bloodthirstiness of the Saiyans that Goku was lucky enough to avoid. Vegeta at this point is incredibly stronger than Goku. Even with Goku's training with King Kai, Vegeta was just too much. It is actually kind of insane to put in perspective how much stronger Vegeta was to Goku at this point in the story. Up until this point, Goku fought many enemies. There were those like Mercenary Tao and Demon King Piccolo, and you could also include Tambourine, I guess, in this list, that won against Goku and caused him to show back up after training, or eating in the case of Tambourine, because Goku was hungry at the time, which caused him to be weaker. And also, he was tired from the fight against the 22nd World Tournament with Tien. But anyways, in these other times, Goku was much more comparable to his adversaries the second time around. In this scenario, the Saiyans are the overarching enemy, and even after he died, Goku was no stronger than before if you compare him to fighting Raditz to him fighting Vegeta. Raditz was about 3 times stronger than Goku if we're going off of power levels, and by the time that Goku got resurrected and showed up on the battlefield against Vegeta, Vegeta was about 2 to 3 times stronger than Goku. The Saiyans were not only the biggest threat that the world had ever faced up until this point, but this is also Akira Toriyama, author of Dragon Ball's way to build up the stakes for our main character, who previously would come back and kick ass pretty consistently. I mean, his fight against Mercenary Tao, round 2, is Goku showing up and wailing on Tao, and makes him look like an utter chump. And before, Tao in the first fight handled Goku like literally nobody in the series had done before. With this in mind, Toriyama gives Goku a gambling chance in this fight with the Kaioken, which would increase his strength but kill his body in the process. The Kaioken is the manifestation of Goku's line of how even a low-class Saiyan can be as strong as an upper-class elite if they work hard enough. Goku has to push his limits to even get to Vegeta's level. And when he surpasses Vegeta in every way through the insane and most iconic Beam Clash in anime history, and Goku uses the ×4 Kaioken, Vegeta loses it. He loses it so bad that Toriyama dedicates a whole page to Vegeta just freaking out and screaming in the sky. Vegeta comes into the series as the most full of himself individual that would put the likes of Seto Kaiba and Sosuke Aizen to shame. I love Vegeta because he will try something and then be shocked when it doesn't work, because he fully expects his plan to succeed without a hitch, and let me tell you, he was not okay with someone like Kakarot, the shrimp Raditz's brother, beating his ass. Vegeta then pulls out the classic create an artificial moon card that we see so often in anime, and at this point Goku loses the fight. There is absolutely no way that Goku is able to win this fight on his own while Vegeta is Great Ape. Not only does the Great Ape cause Vegeta to gain 10 times in strength, but Goku was also mentally nerfed from learning that he was the one that killed his grandpa Gohan before the series even started. Vegeta is considered to be Frieza's strongest soldier, because when he's in Great Ape, he has the power level of 180,000. no one in the Namek arc, aside from Frieza himself, is beating Great Ape Vegeta, and that includes the Ginyu Force. And Goku most certainly is not beating a Great Ape Vegeta that is a whole arc before Frieza. The levels of magnitude that Goku was outclassed in sheer power alone makes this fight, in my eyes, a total loss for Goku, despite Vegeta coming out of this fight the loser between him and the Earthlings. Goku even has a line in this fight acknowledging that he was powerless against Vegeta, saying that he was spent and can't do anything else up until that point. It's just rather interesting to see this wide gap in power between Goku and Vegeta. For most of the series, I would wager my bet on Goku coming out as the victor if we were to put him against Vegeta. If we look at their second fight briefly, I know I said we weren't going to talk about it, but here we are. Vegeta had to tap into Dark Temptations from Babidi to get to the same level as Goku while in Super Saiyan 2. Vegeta was able to stall out Goku in that form, but Goku had Super Saiyan 3 hidden in his back pocket, which effectively means that there was no way that Vegeta was able to win in that encounter if it ever came to that point. As soon as Goku identifies the hurdle that he has to overcome, he does it. And it was at that point in the story of the Saiyan Saga that we see Vegeta's character as a hurdle to overcome. At the same time, even though Vegeta was the one with the secret wind transformation, he was pushed to his utter limits. For him to resort to this, especially when he acted so overconfident up until this point, you would have to assume that he did not think that things would become so messy when showing up on Earth. This may have been a victory for Vegeta, but it proved to Vegeta that there was a low-class Saiyan that could reach his levels and could best him if both of them only had their base forms, and that bothered him. Getting back to the fight, Vegeta begins crushing Goku, and those who survived the Saiyan's onslaught, Krillin, Gohan, Yajirobe, reappeared and joined the fight, with Gohan attempting to distract Vegeta, Krillin firing a Destructo Disc and missing, and Yajirobe cutting off the tail of Vegeta, reverting him back to his original form. This is the oh shit moment for Vegeta. For sure, he was stronger than all three, but Gohan and Krillin weren't nothing. Okay, mainly Gohan, because Krillin nearly got KO'd right after this, but big props to Yajirobe for appearing out of nowhere and coming through. He is the MVP of the fight, and that is for sure. Goku then gets Krillin to fire the Spirit Bomb that Goku has been attempting to charge up when Vegeta was Great Ape, but got clobbered. Krillin misses thanks to Yajirobe calling him out, and I swear Vegeta has the best luck around. This guy really seems indestructible with the amount of shit he gets away with. The Spirit Bomb is now heading towards Gohan. Goku then tells Gohan it will bounce off of him since there's no evil inside Gohan. This line has always been rather unique to me. I love the fact that the energy that the Earth and its inhabitants gave to Goku out of generosity can dictate a concept of morality and can inflict damage accordingly. For it to bounce off of Gohan to smack Vegeta was the best thing that could happen for the Earthlings in this situation. And yet, Vegeta still somehow survives. Before we get to the ending of the fight, the climax here has always been my favorite part of this whole excursion. Well, tied with the Beam Clash, of course, you can't really beat that. But for Krillin and Gohan and Yajirobe to have this huge pivotal role in protecting Goku, who literally up until this moment, Goku had always been the savior of Earth. Both Piccolo and Piccolo Jr. were defeated pretty single-handedly by Goku. So to have Goku utterly defeated, for him to fail this time, and to have his allies step in and actually pull through and bail him out, it's not something you get in modern Dragon Ball anymore. As the series progresses, a lot of the cast ends up getting sidelined, and some of the magic of early Dragon Ball Z is the cast inclusion, and I think that this fight as a whole, even including the rest of the Z Warriors against Nappa, is a great showing of that, which they have attempted to bring back in the Super manga with the Z Warriors fighting random soldiers, but it's just not the same, man. Just bring back Tien. Gohan's tail then suddenly grows back after being cut off previously by Piccolo. Vegeta then tries to take out the tail, but Yajirobe cuts Vegeta in his back, proving once again that Yajirobe is the GOAT in this fight. Gohan then stares at the artificial moon that Vegeta created, and ends up turning Great Ape, and Vegeta then cuts off the tail and causes Gohan to land on Vegeta, who is still the Great Ape at this point, and so Vegeta ends up getting crushed. Vegeta at this point decides to turn tail and call his ship, and Krillin then pulls up and is about to kill him with Yajirobe's sword, but Goku then tells him to let him go, and admits to his lack of strength and desire to want to fight Vegeta in the future. Krillin listens because Goku is the one that fought on Earth's behalf, but he does so in regret, and Vegeta leaves and the fight's over. A part of this fight that deserves a highlight is Vegeta's durability. I don't know how the hell this man survives everything that he does, but he sure does. And boy, does he look worse for wear because of it. In the Super manga, spoilers for the Granola arc, so if you don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead like 30 seconds or something. But Vegeta gets Ultra Ego, and that form has him grow stronger the bigger and badder the beating is. And boy, does that really make sense with how much of a pummeling that Vegeta can take. The man's ego, or pride as he would call it, is so big that giving up is quite literally not an option at this point unless it means, him dying. But in a one-on-one fight, he stuck true to it. During this fight, Vegeta gets wailed on by Goku, takes a ×4 Kamehameha that sends him to the sky, creates the Power Ball to make the artificial moon, which was stated to have his strength be zapped, then gets blinded by the solar flare, gets his eye zapped by Goku, gets his tail cut off, have to fight against Gohan, get hit with the Spirit Bomb, fall back down after being launched into the sky thanks to the Spirit Bomb, get cut into the back by a sword, and have a ginormous ape fall on him and crush him into the ground. Vegeta gets served a beating that you do not see typically in manga, even nowadays. The Earthlings were literally pulling out all the stops to try to take out Vegeta, and yet the Mad Lad kept getting up time and time again. No wonder all the Vegetas that come out in Gekishin Squadron are all tank roles. This man's main role in the series is to get hit! The fight ends with Goku proving to Vegeta that the whole status hierarchy that Vegeta was spouting on about regarding the Saiyans was a whole bunch of baloney. The whole thing about being a Saiyan elite versus a low-class warrior doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things because the rest of the Saiyans are dead. But here, in the fight against perhaps, at least at the time of the writing of the story, a fight between the two last pure Saiyans left in the entire world. The hierarchy mattered to Vegeta, as he was the prince of his people. Technically, I suppose he would be appointed king after his father's demise, but regardless, Vegeta was the ruler in regards to his customs, and so to have a deserter of all Vegeta knew spit in the face of his heritage and all that he'd been surrounded with his entire life, it was something that meant more than just a fight between two people. Goku did prove that Vegeta was not unbeatable purely because of his status, but Vegeta also lost in the grand scheme of things, and Vegeta does not see his first encounter on Earth to be a win in his eyes. As mentioned earlier, Goku kind of dispels the notion of Saiyan elite when he is able to achieve and surpass Vegeta's power without resorting to a grade 8 transformation, which is something that the Saiyans relied on previously. Yeah, of course, Goku had to use the Kaioken technique to achieve those results, but the Kaioken is just that, a technique, not a transformation. The technique also put actual strain on Goku's body and was something that he was only able to have up for a little bit, and cut his durability down tremendously. I'm a big fan of the Kaioken personally. I think it's maybe the coolest thing ever, especially in Dragon Ball, and Goku's showing of wielding this technique is truly a sight to behold. The dynamic poses and sharp handling that Toriyama delivers in this fight must have had his pen on fire, because he delivers in many ways throughout this fight's run and makes me fall in love with the Kaioken thanks to Goku showing off his truly superhuman techniques. There are times where Vegeta can't even follow him and is being pushed around during the whole moment of Goku using the ×3 Kaioken. This fight likes to bounce between who has the upper hand, with Goku on the back foot even when using the Kaioken ×2. Goku putting his life ever closer to danger by ramping up his Kaioken multipliers is a great part of storytelling, not only by it symbolizing the ever closer doom that Goku is putting himself in for the sake of the Earth, but as this is the fight of two Saiyans, which are a race of battle-hungry warriors. The multiplier is showing Goku put caution to the wind, tapping into the true essence of what it means to be a Saiyan. truly acknowledging his heritage for the first time. This fight really shows how determined the Saiyans are at victory by showing the lengths both of them are willing to go for, and it is that willingness at victory that pushes the two to encounter each other throughout the rest of the series, and eventually becomes the two strongest Saiyans that the world has ever come to see. To say that these fights are iconic would be a rather large understatement. Goku and Vegeta's rivalry paved a path for future stories and cemented themselves as the blueprint for many aspiring mangaka to follow for their own characters. We would not have gotten such iconic rivalries that we now have if it were not for these two, and their impact will be felt for days to come. And these two will always stand at the top of the best rivals that fiction has to offer. That's all I got. If you like what you heard, consider liking and subscribing, as it would mean a lot. If you have any thoughts on the video or any ideas for future videos, please leave them down in the comments below. Other than that, I'm out of here. Okay, bye.